What's up, everybody? It's TEKNOBLAST on Techno's Gaming with SIKSLAYER and the Realist. I think the Realist is on. I kept hearing him.
Yeah, he slid in just in time, man. He made it right under the gate.
In time for us to talk about gaming after a week off because I was in Washington, D.C. with the family and having a good time learning about America history. America, baby. Woo!
America.
America. That was nice there, man. It's never been out there before, so it was pretty nice to go out there. We took the train. We had a car, but we still took the train to get everywhere that we needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Rental car for the cost of a rental car wasn't that much, so like we'll just have it just in case. And it'll be easier to get to and from the airport too, because we don't want to lug around all our crap. And knowing how things would go, I'll end up being the ox of the family, right? And have to carry everything on my head, on my back, and probably on my shins. Like, I don't want to do all that, man.
Right.
That's too much work.
It's freaking annoying. That's what it is.
Annoying, man. It's like everybody has legs and hands and feet. You're not sensitive. You're not made out of glass.
Yeah, but they want you to do all the work.
They want me to do all the work. Yeah, exactly. So, I know Realist can do it. He'll stack it up on his shoulder and be like, I got this. Don't worry, baby.
What do you call him? What you calling him a pack mule?
I'm telling you, he's an ox, dog.
He's an ox. Wow.
He's an ox.
That's
Man.
even wow, man. Was he on in that game too?
You're getting too old for that kind of stuff, man.
The Oregon Trail. He was in the Oregon Trail too.
Oregon Trail. So I didn't pay attention to what happened last week, so I don't know what's going on. All I know that Call of Duty is getting a lot of hype right now. Supposedly they're not supposed to advertise on Game Pass, but they are. They're like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. It's our shit.
Nah, I don't believe the hype. They didn't say no. They could do whatever they want with their fucking property.
Yeah,
let's keep that a buck, man. I'm tired of hearing that stupid narrative.
Yeah, see, that's what I was hearing all week. Like, they're not supposed to do it, but look at them. They're putting it on there.
They're not supposed to. Says who?
Yeah. So.
And definitely wasn't Lena Khan.
Lena Khan. And oh yeah, and then Sony got ghosted by Pearl Abyss. Like, nah, forget it. We don't need your deals.
Nah, we good.
We good. What else I got going? The Pearl Abyss, the Call of Duty's coming out, so it's like I ain't got that much, man. It's like it's the same old crap still. You know, everybody's bitching about something.
Well, you know how it is, bro. But
nothing changed after a week I was gone, you know?
Man, let me tell you, it's the same old stuff in terms of certain things, right? Like, you know, there's always somebody there who's spreading lies about this and that, misinformation.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Xbox is doomed. Xbox is dead.
All types of variations of something that will lead you to believe that, right?
Yeah.
You know, nothing but lies, right? Like this and that. You know, all the stuff you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
And more that we're not gonna even bother, right? It's always I don't know what that noise is in the background.
Man, sounds like really some FM radio right now.
Yeah, right? But like, you know, you got all these people, man. They just like, and you can tell, right? If you look at their Twitter accounts, you see what they post. Right? They could say one thing, but you see what they're really about because they really be about saying bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. And the worst thing it is about it, I've noticed particularly lately though, because you know me, I be going on muting sprees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't block, I mute these fools, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing I'm starting to notice now, the correlation that I'm starting to notice now is all these dudes are followed by John Cena.
What?
I'm not kidding. Now, I follow John Cena on Twitter. Maybe it's not the real John Cena. I don't know. I think it is, though. But maybe it's not, right? But there's a bunch of these weirdos online who say all types of dumb shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I look, they'll be followed by this person, that person. But oftentimes now, it'll say, followed by John Cena. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if it's the real John Cena or not. I don't know. But I guess I'm following that person on the John Cena that's on their account. Right? Yeah. So, you know, I that's what I see. Hold on, let me click on one right now. Followed by that's not one. But there's a bunch of these guys. They're just weird. And when you look in their accounts, they're followed by
Is
John
it a bunch
Cena.
of are they posts not subscription, but sweepstakes trying to win something? I get a bunch of weird ones where they're always just signing up for
it's
to win
often the
something.
ponies or the toxic wannabe PC guys, right? Who bought 4090s and a PC with a bunch of crazy fans and stuff, but they don't really know what the hell they're doing with it. Because if you look in their account, they rarely ever talk about it at all, right? But maybe you'll find like 1 or 2 pictures of it, right? But no, they're all followed by John Cena.
John Cena.
You know, the pro wrestler, right? Like, and when I look, they're followed by him. I don't know who these weirdos are, and that's the weird correlation I'm seeing
John
nowadays.
Cena turned family man actor, family friendly movie actor.
Yeah, wearing suits all the damn time now. You know, you go on Kai Cenat's live stream and be wearing a suit. I don't know why all the suits all the time. I mean, hey, man, I ain't mad at a good looking suit, but jeez, man, like, it's like he has no drip. Like, with all this money, he can't get some good drip besides suits. And suits are good drip, but you need more than just suits. You know what I'm saying? You need a wardrobe. You would think he would have the funds and resources to have a proper wardrobe.
Had money, but I would stay just like a bum still. I'll be like Adam Sandler, just wear shit.
Some of the richest men in the world, they dress like bums too.
Like,
don't get it twisted, man.
Yeah,
just because you have a bunch of money doesn't mean you have to be wearing a bunch of fancy shit.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what I'm implying about John Cena, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just see him in suits all the damn time. Like, he doesn't know what else to wear, right? Which, I mean, can't knock a suit, and his suits are always fantastic, and I'm sure they're more expensive than any suit I've ever worn in my life. I'm sure, but like, just wear other things. You know what I'm saying? But as is tradition on this podcast, or at least it used to be, we used to talk a bit of sports here and there. So let me talk a little.
This guy wants to talk about sports.
Now you don't want to. Yeah, I want to talk some shit. I get to talk some shit because last year it was, and I let you shine, man. I didn't talk no shit back.
Last year, the Houston wasn't in the World Series, so I wasn't talking much.
They weren't in the World Series, but you were talking shit in the rental because y'all were doing good and the Yankees was ass last year.
Who was in the World Series last year? Who was in the World Series last year?
Rangers and Arizona.
Yeah, it was Rangers. That's right, it was the Rangers. So
Rangers.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't New York.
That's how uninteresting that World Series was last year. It was like,
because New York wasn't fucking in it. There you go, right? And it was about to be a Subway Series, but hey, the Dodgers messed that up.
I know.
So well, I mean, the Mets messed that up actually, not so much the Dodgers. I mean, it depends on who you blame. I blame the Mets for sucking, right?
They were never going to beat the Dodgers, bro.
I didn't think so either. That's why I don't blame them.
I don't even look at sports stuff right now because.
Well, because your team's already been out.
All I know is that I'm going to hear nothing from degenerate Dodger fans and crazy ass Yankee fans. It's like, number 28.
Yeah, man, I don't like that either. I'm not even that kind of guy, but I mean, in consideration of what happened last year,
number 28.
Yeah, man. And Knicks fans too, bro. Knicks fans really need to shut the hell up. They have no place to talk shit.
And Dodger fans are just like, jeez.
Yeah,
listen, man. I don't like either of them, but if somebody asks me, who do you want? It's hard to choose, man. Like,
you're gonna say the Yankees, but you don't want to have to say that. So, like, you'd rather just shut up. Look at you. You can't even finish your sentence. Look at you. Look at you. So listen, man, this is the one last thing I'm gonna say on the subject, bro. Look, man, a lot of people want to hate a winner, right? And they want to give all these excuses about money and this and that, right? But look at all the years where the Yankees didn't win and they weren't even in contention, right? So, but that's just a coping mechanism. I'm tired.
No, this will be the first one they didn't buy.
Oh, now it's the first one. You see what I'm saying? Listen, man.
No, the first one that they didn't buy. I'm not just talking junk, bro.
Whatever.
Since George Steinbrenner died, they haven't been buying championships.
I don't know about you can purchase a championship because, as far as I know, you still have to compete.
That's what the Rangers did last year.
Either way, man, I really don't care. But I'm just trying to make my one statement, right?
Let him have
All
his
I know
day.
is-
Let him have his day.
Yeah, man. Last year it was all types of ish, right? But all I know is y'all can say whatever you want because the Yankees don't win every year, right? But it's nothing but cope all the time when the Yankees is doing good, man. But like I always said, I said it all season, particularly earlier on in the season when they were kicking ass for longer than they usually do. Because early on,
They started hot first. At first.
or they'll suck, right? It's one of the two, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll get hot. And it'll be hot for a while, and then they'll just lose it, right? For a good period, right?
Yeah.
And then you know it depends if they'll be any good that year, right? This year, they were hot, and they were not, and then they got hot again, and they generally were pretty good this year, but not, the best out there, right?
Yeah.
And they started sucking even, I would say. And now, hey, they're in the World Series. Now then, it's the Yankees versus the Dodgers, 100, he's out there in LA. Of course, he's going to root for the Dodgers, but I remember.
He's an
But I
Angels
remember
fan. He's an Angels fan.
those used to be them Brooklyn Bums, all right? So that's still a New York team.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason,
He's,
if I want to talk
He
shit,
likes
right?
the
If I want to
Anaheim
talk shit,
Angels. That's who he likes.
right? That's who he likes. I'm just saying, bro. It ain't no.
He's a
serious-
Dodgers
it ain't.
fan.
He is a Dodgers fan.
No, I
He's a
know.
Dodgers fan, but it ain't no thing. If the Dodgers win, they win. If the Yankees win, they win, man. Now, I would have liked it if it was the Subway Series, the Mets versus the Yankees. I think my dad would have liked that because he
That
never
would've
got
been
to see
good
them win besides
Like,
86.
yeah, that would be a good matchup. New York against New York.
Right. I mean,
Like,
it's always
all you gotta do
entertaining
is
when
just
New
take
York
the
is
train
jealous,
to the
be
next
honest.
stadium and they're done, right?
Yeah, bro. The Subway Series. That's why they call it the Subway Series,
Only
right?
have to-
You travel the subway to get there. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? But yeah, man. Hey, good luck to the Yankees and the Dodgers. I don't know when they play the first game and whatnot. I'm not really that interested
Tomorrow.
at this point now. Oh, tomorrow? Cool. Tomorrow. But yeah,
look
man.
Look how
what
interested
it is.
he is into the series. Like he doesn't even know when
I'm
it
not
starts.
really. I'm not even. Yeah, I'm the one who brought it up, but I'm not that interested. I just want to call it out. I just want to call it out in comparison to last year.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all.
He worse than Houston fans. Houston
me?
fans could care less about the Astros until they started winning championships. It's like a game hero, like talking like, dude, all right, y'all are not fans, but I understand root for the home team.
Mm-hmm. That's all it is for me, man. I can't sit here and pretend to know any more than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of fan. I don't try to be.
Number 28. Number 28.
Number 28. Yeah. But yeah,
And my
man, we
pizza,
got
number
stuff to talk
28. We're
about.
gonna win all the way.
We got stuff to talk about, but I guess one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, I don't know about you guys, is this Call of Duty, right? And so it's been up for preload since the 21st, right?
Mhm.
And so yesterday, I looked at my PC and my Xbox, made sure it was set to download, but I thought I only had put in for the single player on the PC and the Xbox, in fact. So I just looked on my PC. I was like, maybe I do want to mess with the multiplayer because I seen some footage of the third person mode for zombies and other stuff like that, whether you could switch into third person and switch into first person, like the third person mode. Ever since they added it back in the remake of Modern Warfare 2, it's been pretty damn good, right?
Mhm.
So I saw some footage about that on today. I tweeted that out, and I'm like, oh, maybe I do want to mess with that. And so I went
Like,
just before the
oh.
show. I was like, oh, okay. Let me set my PC to download the multiplayer too. Apparently, I already did that. So okay, I'm good to go. But there's all this negative talk from games industry, .biz, and all these other websites. They've been saying all types of misinformation. And one thing that they said was, I don't want to paraphrase, but they were like 20 or 30% or something like that. Like Microsoft isn't gonna make any kind of money with their revenue is down because I forget what exactly the headline was, but it made no sense to anyone, right? And I'm not even remembering because it was just stupid bullshit, right? But now this year, Microsoft gets 70% of every sale of the game. That goes to Microsoft, not to Sony, not to Activision or Ubisoft or anybody else, not to
Yeah.
your mama, right? Okay, the only mama who's seen any of that money is Sarah Bond, okay,
Mhm.
right? And it's not going in her pocket, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, who is saying all this, and it's from gamesindustry.biz, right? And it starts to spread a little bit from the known actors who would, right? But everybody else is looking at this like, this doesn't even make sense. And then, of course, there's all these weird narratives, right? Oh, they're not marketing. And then some people are noticing, hey, they've been marketing this ad and showing pictures everywhere. Even Ono's Alex is like, yo, he's noticing the hype is pretty big this year. So if you look in his posts, there's all these haters just talking shit. And when you look in their accounts, they're mostly ponies who are going to buy the game anyway. And a couple of them actually did brag about the fact that they already pre-ordered the game and preloaded it, right? But now they want to flip around and say the complete opposite to talk shit because, it's going to be a W for Microsoft, right? Yeah. And then lastly, there's this situation with Michael Pachter. He said something about 2.5 to 4 million Game Pass subscribers could be added because of Call of Duty. And so somehow I forget who, or I bet you it was multiple outlets, right? These ponies always have a narrative that they stick to, right? It's like a hive mind, so you see the one narrative, right? And you'll see the same excuse from all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And somehow they spun it into some kind of negative that, if Microsoft doesn't get, X number of Game Pass subscribers off Call of Duty, and the number I heard was 10, it's a failure. You mean the purchase of ABK that fell into their lap, that they didn't look for or search out. They came to them and said, please buy us. Just like with ZeniMax. So now the Game Pass plan hinges on the success of ABK. Really? Of course it does, right? Even though that had nothing to do with the plan when they came up with the plan, right? And it's just icing on the cake. But no. If enough people don't pick it up, it's gonna fail. And meanwhile, it's being said by the same dudes who are picking it up and then lying as soon as any kind of press is out there. But they tweeted about it earlier. They pre-ordered the game and preloaded it on their PlayStations. That's what they claimed. And some of them even showed pictures. It's hilarious, man.
Mine had like 128 gig update yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, damn, this is a big ass update.
Yeah, the game was actually up for download. Yeah, so all the content, I guess, that you had checked off, it went in and it installed it, because the Call of Duty app now is like, on PC, it's like 18 gigs, right? Mm-hmm. Which is still huge for what's basically a big menu app, right? I don't understand what the 18 gigs is for, because it doesn't have any of the games in there. It's not Warzone or anything. But thankfully now, you could download only the parts you want, right? If you want the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 3, just the multiplayer, you can get that, right? If you just want Warzone, you can get that. If you want the multiplayer for Black Ops 6, you can get that. If you just want the single player, which is what I thought I had at first, you can just get that. But apparently, if you get it all together, it's like, what, 500 gigs with Modern Warfare 3 complete, Warzone complete, and now Black Ops complete. That's over 500 gigs right there.
Yeah, I haven't looked at mine to see how much it takes up.
That's a lot of space.
I know it's just the one. Just the one for Black Ops 6 is 120 for at least for me. I don't know what everything is together, because I know I had Warzone on there and some other Call of Duties. I forgot which one. I already had.
Yeah, I had a couple myself.
I got a couple of disc versions of Call of Duty.
Yeah, which ones do you have on disc?
Modern Warfare 2 or 3, or both 2 and 3 is what I got.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll be playing it. I mean, even though I haven't played a lot of Call of Duty in recent years, I've been more of a Battlefield guy.
Yeah, me neither. Like, I played the single player. Like, I haven't even beaten the single player for Modern Warfare 2. I was playing that a couple weeks ago, and also Black Ops Cold War. I didn't beat that either, so I was playing both of those. To try to finish it for this. Yeah, but I didn't. So, I still have them installed. I'll get around to it eventually. I've been playing Starfield, and I'm still playing Octopath Traveler every day. Still having great time with that. But Yeah, that's what's going on with Call of Duty. But you know, Realist Tech, what y'all been playing actually? Before we get into the details of Call of Duty.
Man, I finished up The Lost Crown. I did that last night. That was
Nice.
fun. Yeah. So, and then we
Another
get the
completion.
news that they shut down the studio. for The
Oh
Lost-
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
is,
Ubisoft for
like,
you.
in
That's
some
the industry
crap,
in
man.
general, but Ubisoft is particularly bad with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't blame the studio. I blame Ubisoft. They charged way too much for that game. Off rip.
It was a fun
Right?
game.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, but
characters were
nobody
good
wanted
and
to spend that
everything.
much.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's what people said when they saw it. They were like, "Yeah, this game looks cool, but I'm not spending that much for it."
No.
I remember that being the consensus when it was first announced. Right? So that's what happened. And this is what I keep saying all the time when you look at this industry, man. Like they seem not to understand the business they're in. I don't know who they pay to do market research, but they need to fire them because they suck and get their money back, right?
Yeah.
'Cause-
I don't know how they got in this position that they're in, like the whole industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that they don't seem
Like,
to know.
where did it turn?
Man, I mean, there's
Microtransactions?
there's
was
many.
it?
Well, it's a lot of these other games that are really successful, like Fortnite, right? And they all think that they could be Fortnite too,
The next one.
right? Right? And even if they're profitable, even if their game is profitable, because it's not Fortnite profitable, in their eyes, it's a failure, right? But this is what I'm saying about market research, and I don't seem to understand. These guys don't seem to understand the industry they're in. I've said this many times in the past. Like their expectations are so far from reality. It's not even. Yo, real, jump in on this, bro, because I don't. This always makes my head hurt, man.
Well, I mean, where did things go wrong? They've been going wrong since live service, right? It wasn't live service. Okay. Once you see Fortnite, once you see other games come up like Fortnite, because you got to remember, before Fortnite, there was WoW, right? But nobody had the machine that Activision or Blizzard had to put out content to create a service game, and then you had Square. Bethesda tried to do it. So now you have all these companies trying to figure out how to monetize their games, pissing off consumers in the process. The thing with Fortnite, it was different, and it was, I hate to use it, but organic the way they did it. They introduced new things, and then you had companies like Ubisoft creating games and having time savers and things like that. So the problem with gaming is that, I think I said this before, but you have people making decisions who don't know gaming.
Yes.
And those are the investors. Those are the people who come in and want to see return, right? And then as a company holding somebody's money, you gotta make profit. Otherwise, they can pull their money. It's not that they paid for a game. They gave you money to see profit. But Ubisoft says they were kind of turn over a new leaf. It's like Ubisoft always makes some type of public statement that says the right thing. Because like last year they came out, why are we chasing trends instead of creating trends, right? Then later on they come out with the finals, and then they came out with X Defiant, which is about to be shuttered. I heard that had 25,000 players. I mean, PlayStation would love that right now. Hell, Xbox would love it right now on Halo. But we don't know what it costs to make. We don't know if it was like some type of repurposed, what's the name of the game? Ghost Recon assets. We don't know. We don't know what it costs. But the industry really went bad when it went good, which was during COVID. So during COVID, everybody was making money. And I don't understand how they didn't understand it was fake. Like, I understood it was fake. I'm sure you did too, Tech. Like, everybody understood that certain things were artificial. Like, people got free money and they were using it for entertainment. Entertainment was being considered, what's the word? Essential. GameStop was open when everybody else was closed. Like, that's when things started to get good for gaming, and people started buying, people started making decisions that I don't think the market can support right now. But when it comes to Ubisoft, they've been going wrong for a while. And on top of that, it's cool to hate them. It's cool to it's cool to sit back and complain about everything they do. Because like when you said Lost Crown was too expensive, $50, not for that game, right? But Ubisoft can't do it. You know what I mean? It's like Ori. Ori was worth $50. Hell, if Metroid Dread is worth 60, these games are worth 50 and $50.
I never finished.
Yeah, Metroid Dread, $60. You bought that crap?
I bought it, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
people bought it and they loved it and gave it all the pat on the back.
Yeah.
But Prince of Persia, they see it and they're like, nope. But
it's
but
cool,
Metroid,
it's cool because it's Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah, well,
but that's what I've always
actually
said. I've always had an issue with that.
I just got
when it comes to
stuck.
that shit. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but check $60.
Right.
No,
Look at the game. Look at the games that you're spending $60
No,
for.
I know. It hurt me to hit. It's like, dude, really? I was like, all right. Well, I like Metroid. I'm that guy. I like Metroid. Just like people like the Pokemon. Like I'm gonna pay $70, right? $60. But now, to be fair, I mean, I pointed out I don't buy many Nintendo games. That's the thing. Like, I don't.
So you like I was in the beginning of the generation, just buying something so that you can say, "Well, I played my Switch."
Right. So like I'm very when it comes to the Switch, I am very selective which games I buy. Right. If when Super Smash Bros. Came out, I bought it day one. When Mario Kart came out, I bought it day one. Right. Like these other games, like Ex Machina that I've been wanting to play for the longest time, I bought it for like $20 because it was on sale somewhere, and it's never $20. Right. But when Metroid came out, I was like, dude, I haven't played a good Metroid game in a long time, right? And then I was like, all right, well, Dread came out. I was like, I bought that one right away. But again, I don't buy that many, Switch games, so it didn't really hurt me that bad at, that I spent that much for a Nintendo game.
Still not a $60 game. Like Sick even says that he's playing Octopath Traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see $60 when I see Octopath Traveler. I see Nintendo. I see NES games. But okay, I'm gonna wrap it up, put a bow on or whatever. So like after COVID happened, everybody started putting their money in gaming. All these big investors started putting their money in gaming. Everybody's stocks got inflated. This is why Ubisoft is basically being corrected in their stock. Oh, it's lower than it's ever been yet, but it was just higher than it's ever been, just like everybody else's. But there's still that pressure for all these companies to perform, and they don't know how. People aren't just buying games right now. People aren't even buying hardware. You know what I mean? And companies like in Ubisoft, so they shuttered the studio, but there's some clause in their hiring that they can't fire people. So they just shifted them to another studio. Supposedly they're going to be looking into a Rayman. They say that Beyond Good and Evil is still in play for like 20 years, going on 20 years now. So
it's coming out soon. It's coming out soon.
No, it ain't coming out soon, but that's a lot of what's going on, man. And I'm just waiting for somebody to just speak up for gaming, man. I mean, Nintendo can't be the only company that gets it.
They don't get it, though. They're just being greedy.
Nintendo does get it.
I'm saying, whatever.
Hold up. Tell me the last time Nintendo dropped a game you needed a day one patch. Tell me the last time you played a Nintendo game and it feels like, dang, man, this needed some more time in the oven. What does that have to do with anything? You're obviously not listening.
The last time you had barbecued ribs, what's that got to do with anything either?
Today!
There you go. So what's that got to do with anything, though?
You're not listening.
No, listen.
You're not listening.
I am listening. That's why I respond to what you said.
So why are you even saying what you're saying if you were listening?
You're the one who doesn't understand what I'm saying, so maybe you should listen.
Because you're not listening. Listen, I'm gonna say it one more time for you because you weren't listening. I said Nintendo can't be the only company that gets it. These companies, somebody needs to take a stand. Some company needs to stand up and say, games can't be rushed. These developers need their time. If it costs us more money, it costs us more money. But once we drop a dud, once we drop a broken game, consumers are not going to forget it. And Nintendo can't be the only one that gets it. Somebody else has to stand up. That's
But
what I
like I
said.
said, I don't think Nintendo gets that either. Because I remember when shit was really bad financially for Nintendo, they didn't have the money to sit there and be like, "Oh, we have to wait for games to be ready to be released." They just didn't release anything, and just sat there losing money. Right? Left like they were in the bad straits. So
You talking about like GameCube?
I'm talking about like after the Wii. After the Wii. Like that dead period, the last 2 years of the Wii, and then that whole time with the Wii U, right? When Nintendo was in dire straits and they got real bad, right? In the middle of the Wii
Nintendo
U.
was dropping games though.
No, not during that period. Now who's not listening? I just said.
I'm
at the
listening. You said there was a period, but I can't
yeah,
think of a period when Nintendo didn't have
I
anything.
literally just told you at the end
During
of
the Wii U.
and in the Wii U. That's what I said. When
The Wii U, they was ready. It was when the Wii U started to fail that they started to pull back a little bit, but they still had some games.
but
Mario, Zelda.
so
Hell,
what?
Mario Kart Deluxe came from that,
But
and they still
still, like
playing
I
that crap.
see, you're like I can never finish a sentence though because you're saying all this other stuff, but you're not hearing what I said to you. Listen, man. All I'm saying is Nintendo had a period, and I very specifically said towards the end of the Wii and during the Wii U. That's what I said. It's the fourth time I'm saying this now, right? When shit was bad for Nintendo, and they weren't sitting there saying, "Oh, we can't rush games out." They just weren't putting out much of anything, and we're slowly dying until they fix shit up with the Switch. And even before then, a lot of Nintendo fans were so, hurt over the bad times that they were going through. A lot like the Xbox fans, they thought shit wasn't going to work out for them at all, right? And a lot of them did not believe in the Switch at all. Like they actually thought the Switch wasn't going to do well. And I found that shocking that Nintendo fans were sticking this, right? But there it is. Nintendo is not the only one who sits there and says, "Oh, we're going to sit there and wait for our games to be good before we release them." They will sit there and make a bad Pokemon game after bad Pokemon game.
Nintendo don't make Pokemons.
See, I can never finish a statement with this guy jumping in to say something silly. Yes, they're Game Freak and whoever the fuck else. It's Nintendo, bro. They have an equal piece in it. It's a three-way split, man. They're just as responsible as the other guys. You know what I mean? They publish it and everything. It's like this.
No,
come on,
don't. Sick.
Either way,
I'm not sick. I'm not jigging at you right now. Like sick, I really don't remember a time when they were dry. And I said Nintendo, and you brought up Game Freak. So like,
oh my God! See, you're like nitpicking everything I'm trying to say while I'm trying to say it. Though, let me finish my statement. Though, what I'm saying to you though is, Nintendo will put out a bunch of crap because they know it will sell, even though it's bad, and even though the players will say it's bad. Well, like Metroid Dread, it got a lot of crap for what it was doing, right? But they did it anyway. They don't care. None of these companies care like they pretend they do. It's a marketing thing. That's it. Because Nintendo sits there and does the things. I'm saying this backwards, right? They will not do the things that everybody knows they should do. That would profit, right? That would profit for them. That people want to see from them. Countless things that people have said all the time. I'm not gonna say anything and nitpick just like you to nitpick what I say, right? Like
just anything. I want you to tell me what like you just talking. You don't want like what do people want from them?
Like a Metroid Prime game that didn't take 15 years to make. Instead, they
can't help that. This is a second studio. I don't want to defend Nintendo, bro. But
you are.
I'm gonna just let you go.
Like everything.
Because you ain't telling you ain't right though. But I don't want to nitpick you because you ain't right. You ain't really said much right.
You've been doing that the whole time.
But you ain't really said much right though, Sid.
The last couple of times we talk on the show and we get into debates, it's about Nintendo or Steam. The same shit with you every time, bro. You jump in with that shit every time. I can never clearly say what I'm trying to say off rip. and you get me.
You have noticed that I've been I shut up 90% of the time you talk, but when you say something wrong, man, I can't just sit back. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to just listen and let you just hang yourself.
But either way, man, Nintendo isn't the only one. Nintendo is not the only one. Oh Lord, man, can I say what I'm saying, dude? Nintendo is not the only. Dude, every time I open my mouth, I hear you
he's
speaking.
messing with you now.
I'm not messing with him because he will not justify anything he's saying. That's all I'm asking. It's
how he thinks he thinks you're doing it on purpose. I'm trying to speak and you're speaking over me.
Man, you just talking out your ass. That's why. I want you to tell me something.
I can't because you keep talking about me talking. Now we're talking
substantiate your claims. That's all I'm asking.
I can't even make my claims. You keep interrupting me. You're doing it on purpose. He thinks you're doing it on purpose. So it doesn't even matter anymore. Either way, Nintendo will sit there and do the same shit over and over and over, and everybody's kissing their ass. But just like you're the one who brought up the situation with Metroid Dread because he said he bought it for $60, right?
Yeah, and
people will accept that. And people will accept that and say it's all good. But meanwhile, Ubisoft will make the same mistake and they'll get shit for it as they should. But Nintendo doesn't at all. So they continue doing the same thing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how they sit there and wait till a game is good before they put it out. I didn't say anything about that. Has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That's completely irrelevant to anything I was saying, anything that was being discussed at all. He brought up the fact that he bought Metroid Dread. And you brought up the fact that it was $60, not me, you. And I agreed with that because
the whole reason why I brought that up is because during COVID, everybody made a lot of money. Yeah. And now there's pressure. Now there's pressure to keep making that type of money. And the only way they can do it is to put something out in hopes that it sticks. But they have to stand up for themselves and say that that's not how it works. That's why I brought up Nintendo. Not because they're doing anything special. What they bring out, people love. And us, quote unquote, hardcore gamers always give Nintendo lovers a hard time for accepting Mario 20 different ways, Zelda 20 different ways, and a Pokemon 50 different ways. We always give them crap about it.
Right.
When you said that they're not doing what people want, I'm thinking like F-Zero? You brought up Metroid Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I don't want to defend them, but they canceled Metroid Dread, brought in a whole new team, and started off from scratch. You know what I mean? Prime? So like Prime is what I said. Did I change it? Yeah. I said Prime for first time, but like then Dread. But Dread was another second party deal too.
Yeah.
So they completely canceled Prime, started from scratch. That's what took them so long. And instead of them putting out something trash, I give them props for that because that cost them money and years of money. So yeah, they might do the same thing over and over again, but their fans like it, man, and nobody else can get away with that. Nobody else. Only Nintendo can get away with, because this is what I said about this was on Legal Show. Halo, Gears, and Forza. Dude, since when do we never hear Mario about Nintendo, but Halo, Gears, and Forza, people complaining about it. Sony does the same thing too.
Yep.
Sony does the same thing too. They just introduced two new IP last generation, which was Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Tsushima.
Not last one. That was generation before. Because that was generation before last.
Probably it. Because Returnal wasn't theirs, and that's this gen.
Right, that's this gen, right?
So Ghost of Tsushima, unless a bigger pony than Meat Tech. Is there anybody else? It doesn't matter. No, that's all I was saying. That's all I'm saying. Because like when you say like, you know, give people what they want, man, for whatever reason they are. You know what I mean? Like people buy that shit, man. We can't say that they're not giving them what they want when they're selling 70 and 50 million units, bro. Like even Arms hit 20. Mario Party hit 20, bro. Mario Party.
Okay, so it's like this. They're not saying nothing wrong, right? But at the same time, you said more than a couple times you don't want to defend Nintendo. So
I don't. But I want it to be accurate.
Let me finish. Therefore, innately, you understand what I'm trying to say, that you don't let me finish. You get it too. Maybe I don't have.
No, that's not what happened.
Maybe you don't have the word. But either way, you get it. because otherwise
But
you wouldn't have been happy.
that's not what happened, Sid. I told you what happened, but you're still talking about it. I
I
told
heard
you
what.
that when you said they're not giving them what they want, I was like, give me an example. He's like, you're cutting me up. Like,
That's
all right,
not
come
how
on.
it went down. That's not how
All
it went
right.
down. But either way,
You can replay. You can replay it next. You can play it next time.
yeah,
Or when you get off.
we can. But either way, like I'm saying now, because you're trying to distract from what I said. You said you don't want to defend Nintendo. You said that multiple times. That means, therefore, subliminally, you understand exactly what it is and what I'm trying to say. But you're like, I don't want to have to defend Nintendo. Why would you have to defend Nintendo if they're so right about it?
Well, because just the fact that I'm saying that it's not that bad and it's not, it's, to me, that's defending them.
Oh,
We can go to the next
those
topic.
are your words, not mine. Either way, I was just asking what you guys were playing, and he said he was playing a couple of games, but you never said what you were playing.
What have I been playing, man?
Pokemon game.
Supposed to keep that on the low, man. Oh, Persona 3. I've been playing Persona 3. Man, I've been thinking about getting that Rick Fantasia, but I was like, man, let me beat Persona 3 before they take it out. Been playing Witcher 3. My nephew and my niece never played it before, so I was like, and it's a single player game, so we're supposed to be racing. But I said I don't race open world games. But for the most part, those are the two games that I've been playing, man.
That's not a game you can race either, because it's long, and then you got the DLC that's pretty long too, and just as the not in the main. I'm told many times I've heard this.
But not just that, sick. Like the side content, it's one of the few games where the side content is almost as good as the main content.
Yes, that's what I just said. Yeah, that's like one of the few examples that I know of to point out. That's the only one that I know off the top of my head. Where the DLC is as good and as detailed, maybe even more so than the main game. Truly.
Yeah. So I beat 16 Final Fantasy, so I was like, man, I wonder if any other Final Fantasies are as good as this. So I started Intergrade. I don't like it. I don't. Okay, the story is cool, but I don't like the combat. I liked 16 because the combat was pretty much your combat, whereas Intergrade is turn-based with a twist.
With menus and stuff, eventually it's automated. Eventually you get to a point where it's automated. Oh, that's 12 basically. Right?
Yeah. But see, 12 I didn't get that far. That's turn-based. It's kind of like Ni no Kuni turn-based.
Yeah.
But 15, I started that one. I said, okay, I like this one. And I went back to Intergrade, and I'll play 15 after I finish Intergrade.
You think you'll finish 15?
It's pretty long, man. What's the name is coming out at the end of the month? I'm dropping everything for that. The game that everybody's calling Dragon Age, Veilguard. Yeah, I'm dropping everything for that. So
for Veilguard?
Probably. Excuse me?
You say you're dropping everything for Veilguard?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you? Is it to work for you too?
No, I'm not. Just not very interested.
Yeah, I'm more interested than I've been in the past, because before it's like strategy, tactics.
Was Veilguard supposed to be that Dreadwolf that was announced a few years back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought there were two separate.
Yeah, they changed it because they didn't want. They said that they didn't want people. I'm not really good with the lore, but what did you just call it? Dreadwolf. Dreadwolf refers to something, but the game is not about the thing that it refers to, and they didn't want people to go into the game thinking that it was going to be that thing. And I don't know what that thing is that Dreadwolf refers to.
Well, it must be something from the first two games, because supposedly, it doesn't really care about the last two games like the last two games cared about the previous games. So they do some sort of summary at the beginning, and then after that, it's its own game now.
I'll take it because I didn't beat Inquisition. I mean, I'm like eventually I'm I'm gonna get back to trudging through Baldur's Gate 3.
Mhm.
But like I'm not a big fan of like the old school tactics CRPG style. Certain games. I mean, because I played the Masquerade. I've been watching the Masquerade videos all day and just getting sadder and sadder with each video.
Why?
You mean Vampire or Vampire the Masquerade?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because
man.
because the OG was made. I mean, I was like 20 when I played it. Yeah, like 21 when I played it, and so it was made by a company called Troika. It's a straight up RPG, like CRPG. And Troika went out of business. The game later became kind of like Waterworld. Like Waterworld was a box office bomb, but then they made all their money back on DVDs, and people loved it when it was too late. It happens with a lot of things. People
Yeah.
loved the Masquerade when it was too late, and Troika went out of business. And then they've been bastardizing the title. It's a popular tabletop game,
Yeah.
and people have been making card games that nobody cares about or poorly executed. People have been making other RPGs like Swan Song that I bought day one. Oh, it was like the equivalent of Unknown Nine that just dropped. Anyway, and so this one looked like they actually cared. This is the second studio that's done it. Paradox has said that there won't be any DLC, so that man, they might just drop it, man, and it could be buggy as hell, and they just wash their hands of it. That's the type of tone that I'm getting from what they're saying in these interviews, and that was I was hoping that they could bring it back, man. And that I find out they don't. There's no Blade right now. I find out this about the Masquerade 2. Blood Red. It's called Bloodline. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines too.
Bloodlines,
And,
right? Too.
and so yeah, sorry guys.
So another thing about that game is because I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why I laughed at that last part there when you said you were watching and reading interviews and stuff. Like I know exactly what you heard and saw, and it made you feel worse about the situation, right? But I remember when they first announced the game, I think towards the beginning of this generation, or just before the generation began. I think maybe at the Game Awards or whatever. Maybe the same Game Awards where they had showed off the Series X the first time. Maybe it was the first time they announced it. I want to say it was around that era. Plus or minus maybe 3 to 4 months. Anyway, I was like, yo, 'cause I remember the first Bloodline on PC. I was like, oh, this could be big. This could be big. 5 years later, here we are. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, when I chuckled when you said that part, bro, I know I chuckle out of pain. Like it's sad to see that this is where it is. Like this could blow up big time. Forget being Xbox exclusive, whatever. I don't know what they put that on all platforms that could run it, right?
It's gonna be all platforms. I don't know if they want it.
Right. That's the thing about it now. Now it's got into this whole situation where it's like, do we even care about it?
But say after Swan Song, bro, like they're just messing the name up. There's like 8 different games that have come out just from companies want to use the name.
Yeah.
And like they could have redeemed it. Like it's the thing is like your brand recognition. You laughing tech, but like man,
No,
that was like other
making the comment about sick.
No, Kieran,
other than
Kieran.
Oh, in the chat. Other than
Yeah.
I can't see the chat. But other than I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, they're messing up the name, man. They're messing up the name. It's
for a long time that they have. It holds no weight, except for those of us who know, right? But even like I know some people who are into vampire stuff, right? And stuff, and so like the books, even the game. There are people who are into Vampire the Masquerade, the franchise, right? In all its forms. And even they, for ages now, have been quite disappointed, right? With the direction that franchise has gone. And they look at other franchises like Warhammer and stuff, and they're like, that could be us, man.
Mhm.
That could be us, where we could be on the cusp of getting, you know, wide acclaim for our franchise, right? Like Warhammer is starting to get nowadays, right?
Or-
It's just
Cyberpunk.
like Cyberpunk is, right? But
Yeah,
Cyberpunk
Baldur's
kind of
Gate.
Baldur's Gate. See, hey, you know what I'm saying? But and these are all franchises that are just as old or older even than Vampire the Masquerade. You would say within, plus or minus 5 years in terms of age of the origin of each one of those franchises that you named,
Hmm.
right? And they're all doing better than Vampire, and it's sad to see. And when I first saw that announcement, I was like, Bloodlines 2? Oh, bro, I'm gonna be there day one. 5 years later, we still like. It hurts, bro. It really does. It really, really, really does.
You know, I went
Yeah,
off
that's all
on
I'll say on that.
a Bloodlines Vampire Masquerade. What you playing, Ted?
But like I said, I finished The Lost Crown. I liked it. It was good. The characters are great and everything. The boss battles were fun. They all had their own unique style on how to defeat the guys. So that was cool. I need to get back to Space Marine because I kind of stopped just because I was concentrated on the Lost Crown because I want to get traded in. I did get the physical version. And so now, I don't know. I want to... Well, we got Black Ops coming up. I usually play the story mode for it.
Right.
And then I do want to start on Final Fantasy 16. And I've had that one for a couple of months now. I haven't started up yet. So.
Oh, you bought that brand new, and the way you're saying it all slow, like you slowly are realizing or regretting that you bought a day one. We could have bought.
No, I didn't buy day one. I bought it for like $20.
You better use.
Yeah.
16?
Yeah, 16. I bought it cheap.
16 was already. Oh, I forgot about that. Damn, that'd been a long time ago already.
I don't know. I got a deal on it. I forgot what I did. I think I traded in a game and just got it.
Oh right, yeah. That does sound familiar. But like, wow, because when I see it on PC, right? It's been on PC for a little while now, and they've had some patches and stuff. Really, did you get to try any of the like more recent patches? Because I think a lot of them had been released after you already beat the game.
Bro,
Did you ever go
I
back?
I didn't have any issues running the game. So
you
the
didn't.
only time that I tried it to see if it ran better on the Ally.
Mm.
Like all the complaints that people had, I don't know what their rigs are. Like I didn't have those issues, man. So but when they come up with an update, I'm just waiting for them to fix it for the Ally. That's it. I uninstalled it the day before yesterday because it still runs like trash
On the X?
on the Ally.
Don't you
Yeah,
got that-
on
don't
the
you got new one?
LX.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still runs like trash. That was one of the reasons why I bought the X.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going to want to play it on the go. Once I played that demo on Epic and hell, I played the Epic and Steam demo. So it runs like trash. It stutters every 5 seconds. It freezes. The frames catch up. Freeze. Frames catch up. It's like it runs like total trash on the Ally, like on lowest of low settings.
Wow.
Oh, that's the same issue everybody was having with the game. It didn't matter how good the hardware was. Like at certain cutscene type situations, the frame rate will just drop.
Well, the frame rate, the cutscenes run at 30.
Right.
That's so what? Like that,
but
they did that on purpose.
30. But I mean they'll drop less than 30. Like
man, I got clips. I got clips on Twitter.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd seen them. But also I was watching the reviews from. Oh no, it's Alex with his PC port review. I seen Digital Founder. I saw this one other guy. He's more independent. Cap Frame X, something like that. I forget his name exactly. Right, and so they all said the same thing. And the only reason I'm reminded of it is because you said these things just now, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about this from other reviews. So like, yeah, the cutscenes are 30.
But that's only on the Ally though. On my PC, I didn't have any issues. Yeah, the cutscenes, the cutscenes are capped at 30. Well, supposedly the patch before this last patch made them uncapped.
Right, that is true. That is true.
But like, I don't care about cutscenes being at 30. That's when they should be at 30. But as far as the stuttering and stuff, that only happened on the Ally.
For you, but like I remember on it was Alex's PC port review day one. He was
Bro, I
talking and
heard
he
it's
showed it.
trash on the
I heard-
PS5 tech
It isn't?
because that's what he's gonna play it.
And popped it in
Oh
yet.
yeah,
I
He's about to
don't
find
really
out.
care much about PlayStation like that. I just listen to PlayStation stuff. I don't watch PlayStation
I'll
stuff.
let you know.
But I heard that it's at like 800 and it's muddy.
Ew. Well,
I saw that on Twitter too.
Well, good thing the PlayStation, my
Twitter.
PlayStation 5 is hooked up to a 1080p TV.
not a 4K TV.
Yeah.
So it won't.
Yeah, you
Hey,
need
man.
you need the big three, bro.
What, the Pro?
You need the big three, man. You forgot about the big three tech.
The Pro.
Mark Cerny told y'all about the big three. That's all they told them
Pisser?
suckers.
Oh,
Look,
word.
yeah.
Word.
Do y'all know Drew? Frog Boy.
Yeah, I got him.
Pro Boy X.
Yeah, I'm following him.
So his name Andrew. So Drew.
Okay.
I used to do shows with Cowboy with him too. So and
Oh.
but like okay. So Drew, he's hyped about this PS5 Pro. I said, bro, you're just a consumer. He's really a pony, but people call him an Xbox dude.
He's
But
got,
like he's gonna
video
buy
cards all the time. He's buying like all sorts of video cards all the time.
Well, that's what he does, right? For content. But in his heart, he's a PlayStation fan.
All right.
And so like he's buying this PlayStation. Yesterday he puts out a tweet saying, I wonder why PlayStation hadn't released any specs. I'm worried now. I said, bro, it took you that long to figure out that y'all got suckered? Like, the dude talked for 9 minutes and only used marketing lingo with y'all. Didn't tell you any specs. Just told you it's a 45% larger GPU. And the big three is we're calling it the big three. Right? That's all he kept saying. He never gave specs. They still haven't given specs. They've been selling pre-orders, and these dudes don't know what they're buying.
Still, and it hasn't been sold out yet from day one. I'm shocked, by the way.
It don't matter.
I've ever done that.
Let them whole sell 100,000 is 100,000 suckers.
Oh, no doubt.
What kind of blind faith you got to have for that?
No, but the thing about it is, I agree. You're not saying that, but the point I'm making with all of that is, with all the shit talking they do, why wasn't it sold out day one like every other even the Xbox One, when they announced with all the crap that was happening back then, sold out day one on pre-orders. Okay? It's been how long since they announced this and they put it up for pre-order? It's still not sold out? Really?
Sold out, yeah.
That's a bad time. It's a bad time right now, Sid. That's why you think the Switch isn't announcing. Like the Switch don't want to drop their Switch 2 or Super Switch right now.
He's like mad. He's like, I don't mind people preferring Sony, just don't be a fucking fake fuck.
Yes. Like Colton Rand.
Dude,
right.
That's what I always say. Like if you're gonna be a PlayStation fan, that's cool. Let's talk. Tell me why you like it. But the only thing that I hear from PlayStation fans is how much they hate Xbox.
Yes.
Hey,
you know, that's my problem with them.
Hey, real. You like the Mavs?
Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kieran is talking some shit to you. He's from Texas too, you know.
Oh,
I didn't know he was from Tejas.
Yeah, he in Texas, I believe. Yeah. So.
Nah, man, I'm from Houston, man. I'm from Hurston. The hell?
I don't. Same state.
Nah, but I'm a Spurs fan though. Like I grew up in North Carolina, so I watched
he said
all of
my Mavs. Man, is he around here?
Hey,
I don't know
if he claiming Dallas, only people in Dallas claim the Mavericks. I've never met a Dallas Maverick fan outside of Dallas.
Yeah,
he's from the Dallas area. Y'all should go eat lunch.
We should. More here.
Look, but check
one day.
I'm a Spurs fan, man. You know, in North Carolina, I got to watch all of the college basketball games. And I became with Tim Duncan. We didn't have the Hornets left. And Kobe got drafted by Charlotte. When Charlotte traded Kobe, I didn't even want to watch Charlotte. I went back to watching Michael Jordan.
DFW here, man. Let's link up.
What's that?
He said DFW.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, me too.
Yeah, ain't nobody root for no damn Mavericks outside of Dallas.
Nobody cares about Mavericks, man.
Yeah, hey, he better enjoy that championship.
Man, you hear the salt in their voices, man. Y'all better chill with that salt intake, man. That's
I got a buddy who's like hardcore, like everything Dallas, right? And when the Cowboys are sucking right now, I text and say, "Hey, are you ready for basketball now? Are you giving up on?"
He went to school in Carolina.
I was like, "Are you giving up on your Cowboys? Now you're ready for some NBA?" He's like, "Man, NBA, my Mavs are stacked, the Rangers are stacked, and the Stars are stacked." I was like, "Calm down, calm down." This is what you told me.
You like a New Orleans Saints fan.
This is what you've been telling me for the last 8 years that I've known you. We're stacked, and nothing's happened besides the Rangers, and that was it. That was a fluke, you know.
Bro, that Mavericks championship they got, that was I ain't gonna call it a fluke, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime again soon. Like,
he says, "I'm on Cowboys boycott." That's what every Cowboy fan says.
Jerry got to go. Jerry got to go.
Okay, if he's a Cowboys fan, why don't he think they can win the Super Bowl like the rest of them?
Oh,
Like they could be 2-15, and they say we're going to the Super Bowl.
Well, that's why people don't like Cowboys fans. They're annoying like that. Okay. Now, if you're a Cowboys fan, you live there or whatever, you get a pass unless you start going balls deep with that dumb shit, right? But like, Cowboys fans are annoying because that's like the brand name an annoying football fan.
Hey,
everybody
Yankees fans are the same way, except for you.
I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna get number 28.
I'm not that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? But except for me, and you really meant that because I'm not that kind of guy, right? But I get it. Like, I hate Knicks fans for the same reason. They're losers, but they talking shit, y'all. They haven't won since before I was born. I'm gonna be 45 on the 28th. The fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? I think it was nearly 50 years ago. If 50 years ago, that was the last time they won.
Right now, the Bambino will be proud.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
But the Knicks
fans are annoying. Everybody hates Cowboys fans.
The Knicks had a squad until the first game of the season. Like Knicks fans were flying high. We got Cat, Jalen Brunson got some help. Man, them boys shot 63s, hit like 30 of them on the Knicks the other night. I saw that because I've really been doing sports on Twitter lately, but like, man, all the New York Knicks fans, they held spaces, they crying. Oh man, it was crazy.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the space. I didn't join in any. Like, I'm not that heavy into it, but I've seen a lot of spaces in my feed about the Knicks, bro. So I know exactly what you're talking about. The shit was ridiculous, bro. But yo, man,
Kieran, send me a tweet, man. If you're on Twitter, send me a direct, man. I'm here in the Dallas area too.
Oh, that's the homie right there. That's the homie right there. He's good people.
That's funny.
Good people. So one thing about this sports. So one last sports thing I want to say is like, back to the Cowboys, say just a little bit more, right? It's like when you talk to chick, right, who knows nothing about football, you ask them to name a team. That's probably the team they're gonna name.
That's the only
right?
they're gonna name. Yeah.
That's not like,
it's
bro,
America's team. Oh.
Yeah,
Dallas is America's team, bro.
To poop on, maybe, because everybody likes to talk shit about it.
It's an embarrassment to America and to the American people.
Yeah, truly.
And for that,
but I just want
everybody should disown them. And that's the bottom line.
No, they are. Look, you know when you go to Walmart, they only have like city shirts. I've been to 3 different states that are rivals, not DC yet. So 2 states that are rivals. I went to New York. They had Cowboy shirts in Walmart.
Yeah.
I went to Philadelphia. They had Cowboy shirts in Walmart. So you know that's America's team. Bro, there's Dallas everywhere. Them in Pittsburgh. And then later on, there'll probably be a bunch of Patriots bandwagoners came along during the break.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew one guy who was in the clan back in the day. He was a Patriots fan. His name was Patriots fan. So, but he was a Patriots fan in the midst of the Patriots
dynasty.
Their run, right? The dynasty, right? So it was like, like I said, I'm not too heavy into football at all. That's American football anyway. That's not even the sport I refer to as football. I always say American football because what you'll call soccer, that's what I call football. But anyway, right? Like, and this was in the era of the Patriots dynasty, and all these like, yo,
Tommy,
We used to play Ghost
Tommy.
We used to play Ghost Recon, right? And he would be like the machine gunner. And his strategy was he would always say to do the same thing that they do, to just push, to keep pushing. All the time with heavy machine gun causing lag on everybody. Keep pushing. I'm like, oh, Patriots fan, please, bro. But yo, man, I miss those days with that guy and everybody else in the clan.
Tommy.
Yeah, so that was the team where everybody started hating on the Patriots because they were winning, right? But that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show, man. Everybody loves to hate on a winner because they're jealous. That's all it really is, man. Because I can give you so many examples of other teams that have had dynasties. All of a sudden, everybody starts hating on them. Why? Because they're winning. That's all.
Well, the Yankees are easy to root for. It's like Yankees, Lakers.
Back
used
to
be
Bulls
like
back then.
Yeah. Well, not so much. Like everybody's really Jordan fans.
Yeah,
but like,
really.
It's easy to root for teams with like. Even I'm surprised the Celtics don't have more fans. But like, that's why.
I agree too.
Because and then a lot of these other teams, it's like even like fighters. People love you on the way up, and once you reach the top, they can't wait to pull you down.
Yes,
it's like, and it's really not the team or the person. It's the media, and then the new fans that come along with them that just make you like, oh, I just wanted to stop. You know what I mean? Because like the Patriots, I used to like the Patriots, and the reason why I stopped liking the Patriots, they cut. This is before they won Super Bowl. They started cutting all of my favorite players. You know what I mean? Like they just got rid of everybody. Like Ty Law, everybody was going. Hell, I even liked Bucky Jones. All of them he was getting rid of everybody. Curtis Martin, like everybody was just leaving. But once it's just like Patrick Mahomes right now. Everybody was cool with Patrick Mahomes, but now everybody hates him because the media is saying how he's better than Tom Brady when Tom Brady is everybody who was alive during the Brady era's GOAT. So it's like, oh, it's sacrilege to say that Mahomes is better than Brady. He can't possibly be better than Brady. The referees are helping him win every game. Everybody hates Patrick Mahomes now. And they're hoping that anybody can take him out. And that's just the way it is. It's like the Celtics. People will probably root for the Celtics. Now everybody's going to be rooting for their downfall. But I think theirs was a fluke too. They're just lucky the Timberwolves beat the, Hunter still owe me a game for that.
I remember the year when the Celtics won, not recently, years back, like 10 years ago, maybe.
KG?
Huh?
KG?
Look at
one of the players was Chauncey Billups. Or was it Chauncey Billups on the team?
Mahomes is a good dude. He's an American.
And what?
He's an all-American boy.
All-American boy. yeah, I guess so.
Patrick Mahomes pronounces his W-H. What? That's how he's not like a straight up hillbilly. What?
I don't like his commercials. I hate
I just made a good team win.
Hey, I can save you on
know what you're saying, man?
Like, get off, Patrick Mahomes. Get out of here.
Okay, so I was trying to say something, but then you said whatever you said about Mahomes, and I done lost my train of thought. But anyway, so you know what? Never mind. I forgot it again. I guess we're all getting old today, huh?
Damn.
Hello, Piggy.
Yeah, but anyway, so like we had a bunch of other topics that we wanted to talk about today. Maybe we should get to one of those.
Man, all right, Helldivers, man. Arrowhead explains what needs to happen to get Helldivers 2 on Xbox. I would love for this to happen. Why? Because I do enjoy it. The little time I've played it on PlayStation, it's a fun game. The only downside is like I don't have PSN constantly. I don't want to sign up for them because their shit sucks. Right?
Yeah.
I am kind of considering to sign up for a little because TLU 1 is coming out on their service and I want to play it again. I think my son would enjoy to play it.
I thought you have it on PC, or was you able to get that version back or whatever?
No, I never got it on PC.
Helldivers?
No, he's got
Helldivers
it.
too?
He plays it on PC all the time. But when he wanted me to play, I would have to get the PlayStation version so I can play with him.
Oh, right, because your PC ain't up to snuff to just get the PC version, so you'd have to get the PlayStation version. Okay, so, that's fine because it runs good on PlayStation.
Yeah, no, he loved it because he's like, dude, it looks so good on the PlayStation. It's like, yeah, because your old card is old. You need a new one.
Yeah.
This is before he got the new card.
Right.
But no, dude, it needs players, right? They've complained that it doesn't have enough players, and the PC community is saving this game, and PlayStation players are not there. And it's like, well, there's a whole other community that probably wants to play it, and how does one know without even trying to put the game out there? And I'm sure they're gonna do some stupid analysis that says, it's not gonna be worth it.
Yep.
Is it really not gonna be worth it? Is it? You'd rather have nothing than something?
Yeah. But the one other thing about that is with this game. So I saw the actual like quote or whatever. I don't remember where I saw it, but I actually read what they had to say, right? It wasn't just a reaction thing. I had found the original quote, right? And it was more like like my take on it was more like it was dismissive. It's like this without saying the actual words, what I felt the person really meant was, it's not really up to us. It's up to the guys at Sony and Microsoft to make that happen on Xbox. It's not really up to us. We're not against it, but it's not up to us. So don't bother asking us.
Yeah, it's right here. It's not up to us, but to Sony and Phil to duke it out. But hypothetically speaking, if both partners think it would benefit them from a financial brand standout, it could. If Sony believes it won't, it won't.
And you see that right there at the very end there? He says, if Sony believes it won't, it won't. Because I'm sure Microsoft would be cool with it. It would look great for them, and it would be a little bit of an L in terms of perception-wise for Sony, but profit-wise, it would be great. It would be a W, right?
And why would Arrowhead want to fight against that if Sony says no?
Arrowhead has always been open that they have no issue with putting on Xbox if they were allowed to, right? It was never a thing that they were against. In fact, they were the ones, remember, when they added the PSN requirement, they warned them about that. Yeah. They warned them that would be bad and it would blow up in their faces. So, like, Arrowhead is always the one who's been neutral in the situation. But if you notice that last sentence there, it shows you where the roadblock is.
Yeah.
It's Sony, black and white. And so when Helldivers 2 was first announced and all of that, when it was first announced, when we seen footage of it, right, before it was released, right? And it was it was a game that PlayStation heads were talking about, blah, blah, blah. It's another cap in there, or another feather in their cap, to sit there and talk all this exclusive blah, 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 as they always do, right? And then to come to find out the majority of the player base was really on PC, right? Mm-hmm. And now, and of course, most Xbox dudes, of course, there's always going to be, the exception to the rule. There's always going to be the ones who's just as bad as the ponies, but usually not worse, right? Yeah. Or look at Alex's most recent, I think yesterday, where he sat there and he went in. Was it yesterday or the day before? Maybe even he went in. He's like, Xbox guys just don't do this stuff, right? Everybody's always mad at him that he's always talking about PlayStation guys, but he literally said, Xbox guys don't do this stuff, right? So generally, what I remember, because I was active in Spaces at the time, realized I know you were there to hear at least the conversation. You probably still remember what the consensus was amongst the Xbox community at the time, right? The Xbox community generally was like, this is a good game. It would do very well on Xbox because the Xbox player base would mess with a game like that. It's more of a like perfect match, right? Yeah. So if it comes to Xbox, that would be cool, but we don't see that possibly happening. So it is what it is, but we're not going to sit there and talk shit about the game. It's a cool game. They're making a bunch of mistakes with the PSN thing. We all discussed all of that stuff, but we didn't talk shit on the game, right? And so now even there's all this talk about it. I don't believe it's ever coming to Xbox. Arrowhead clearly doesn't believe it's ever coming to Xbox. But if it did, at this point now, it probably wouldn't even do all of that. There's way too much competition, other shit to play, and it's way too late. It was way too late. It should have happened. If it was going to happen, it should have happened like a month after the PlayStation release. Yeah. It's too late now.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
And moved on to other things.
And I feel like if, for whatever reason, like this article or whatever, this quote from this developer or the community manager, actually, right? If all this talk was to lead to Xbox getting a port, right? It probably wouldn't do well. And then all of a sudden, you know what the narratives with the PlayStation fanboys.
Oh, it
right?
is so. I'll see what happens. Xbox
Exactly. And that's why at this point now, leave it over there. We don't want it because it's like nuclear. It's radioactive at this point. It's not worth the trouble to have it. And we have other shit to play that's way more interesting. And besides, that game is on the decline now anyway. No one cares.
Yeah, I did a space with Beast about that, right?
Yeah. You did.
The more multiplayer community is the Xbox community.
Yep.
The community that's more willing to try new games is the Xbox community.
Yep.
Like you look at like even a game like Redfall, it had a decent sized community. Like everybody was complaining about it online, but I would always go in the on a LFG and it'd be 370, 450, looking for people to play with. You know, have you heard the PlayStation community say a damn word about Vampire Survivors?
No.
See what I'm saying? And it's like
they finally got it.
It's like but that's a game. See, that's why I said the Xbox community more closely mirrors the PC community. Yes. People who just play games. The PlayStation community is looking for the prettiest thing they can see, right? That they can get their hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Helldivers would have probably performed as well as it did on PlayStation with the smaller install base, because that's just the type of community that it's called the Dew Shooter box for a reason.
Yeah.
So like them keeping, but see, Sony's going to learn the lesson the hard way that you don't make live service games exclusive. It's like even with that trash Concord, you would have found more people playing that on Xbox than the PC and the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But you know, let Sony do Sony. Like the game is fine. Like I'm not into extraction shooters.
At some point, I'm sure this games has already plateaued on consoles. Like, why not introduce another one to?
It never did, but like, but no, I'm not in the extraction shooters. But there are people that are. But then there's Marathon. Marathon's coming. That's gonna be day one on Xbox. But yeah, that game was at what 300, almost 400,000 players max when it first came out, and then it fell off. Why? Because it's PlayStation. PlayStation is Ubisoft of live service games. They don't understand that. See, a lot of these companies make a service game, and they wait for it to pop before they have content. But if you're gonna have a service game, you gotta have the content ready in case it does pop. Even with what's the name of that game? Suicide Squad, right? They said they're gonna be 5 seasons. It's been trash for 5 seasons, but they have the content ready. You know what I mean? But if it was a hit, the people who invested, I think the last season was just dropped with I think it was gay. You had a gay Joker, but then you had a gay and he had a gay Joker and a gay Iceman that they made a woman.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Iceman, you mean from like X-Men? Iceman?
No, Iceman from
with Dr. Freeze.
Yeah, Dr. Freeze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like
Mr. Freeze,
and like,
I guess, basically.
And the reason why I know these things is I listen to people complaining about it. No, bro. I saw the videos.
I saw the like people posting pictures, and I thought it was like a joke. I didn't think it was real.
It's not fake, bro. But PlayStation, like Fair Games. Let's just say Fair Games is a hit. Well, they have the content ready. PlayStation is very risk averse, so they need to. You need to be in it to win it, man.
Yeah.
They're dropping these so-called service games, and let's say they pop off. Man, these people find something the hell else to do, man. Look at what happened in New World. New World was at 1 million concurrent players, like 940,000 concurrent players.
Well, that's not
when you can't.
That's not a million.
Okay, that's why I corrected myself. But they'll find something else to do. That's why they backdoor with what's this new one? Throne and Liberty. Totally different game. But they were ready. Man, you from Houston, homeboy. Look, I said backdoor. Look, so Throne and Liberty. See, the way what's the name of this company? Amazon does service games. The way Microsoft does service games. That's how you do it, man. But see, those are $2 trillion companies. So the way that they handle business is going to be totally different. The same thing with like Epic. Epic's totally dedicated to their one game. But like, you got to have the content ready. Fair games, I think it's going to be another Concord because people see, I applaud PlayStation for trying, but they're too late. They built an entire console base around other people's IP. So when you try to introduce something new to them, it flops. You know what I mean? Like, they've been hyping up God of War all this time, man. All this time they've been hyping up God of War. All this time they've been hyping up Horizon Zero Dawn. 20 million sales. 20 million sales. Like, dude, they sold like 10 million of them for $9.99. These games cost too much money for y'all to be hyping that up. This ain't like Nintendo. Guess what? God of War on PC. Horizon on PC. And they're getting faster and faster. The mouse is eating them alive with Spider-Man. Spider-Man, let's get that on PC right now. They're going to be paying, they're only going to get 40% of each sale off of Steam. They got to give the mouse 30%, and they got to give Steam 30% up until a point. They're going to be getting 40% after each unit, so you know it's bad.
And if
they have to get this thing out fast,
or the way they are nowadays, right? Like, will they even make the point, right? Oh, so it could be less than 30%. Like,
well,
with Spider-Man, I'm not too concerned, but what a lot of these other games that they put out that come to PC, concerned about that.
Have you looked at the sales? Sometimes I'm bored. Sometimes I'm bored and I look at certain sales. Not just of historically, like PlayStation games, how they perform on PC.
Most of them do pretty well. Where it should have.
What's pretty well, man?
I would say like 500,000, 1 million plus, depending on the game.
That's trash.
Right? But I don't know what it is like final numbers because they don't report those numbers. All I'm trying to say is, right?
Well, they have VGC.
I'm just trying to say that in terms of getting the percentage to be lower than 30%, all these PC ports they put out at least would have assumed it passed that threshold. So it was less than.
It goes off money though, right?
Yeah. It goes off of sales. I thought of
money, right? Sold. Not units.
No, I think it is units, not actual money. I think it's units and not money. But depends on the deal, I guess. I think each one is. It could be a different deal, which each release. I don't even know if it works out because with Game Pass, if a game comes to Game Pass, right? Every game is an individual type of deal. Sometimes it's units, sometimes it's money up front, right? Everything is, it's
how much time played, but that's different,
right? Each one is different. I don't know about these PC ports to say one way or another.
That's different than Steam's commission structure. Like Steam's commission structure is the same as it is for AAA as it is for indies. It's like you gotta hit. I thought it was money, but
I think it's units. So I believe it's units.
So if it's units, they'll never hit it. Some of these games.
Yeah,
but if you look at Sony sales, they average about 1.5. Yeah, they only got like 7 games on PC, like 1.5. But that's taking the highest and the lowest. You look at Sackboy, it's probably at like 100 or 75,000. Days Gone is one of their bigger. It's one of their bigger sellers. God of War 1 is one of their bigger sellers, and Ghost of Tsushima. The rest of them are they're like 300, 400. They're not high. Sackboy is low. Even Ratchet is low.
Ratchet was.
What's that game? That was a horrible port too. Uncharted is low.
Uncharted is really the full Uncharted. Like it's not the mainline games. It's some side games.
I don't care. All I'm saying is they're not. I'm saying that they don't sell. They're not selling a lot on PC. The only one that they did, if you factor in Helldivers, then it's different. But Helldivers is day one. You know what I mean? So like Spider-Man didn't have. I thought Spider-Man was knocking it out of the park. But then you look at the sales, because I look at PC players that try to go against ponies, like Joe from Seattle. What's the other dude named Klutzy King? Like I listen to these dudes.
Yeah.
I listen to these guys go at ponies, and they're like, "It's doing really good on." Like, no, it's not. And then at least Joe from Seattle gives PC a way out. PlayStation games or PC players, we buy more games every time. What does that mean? All that means is that
They wait for it to be
deep
on sale
discounts.
first. Right.
Deep discounts. And deep discounts are bad for business. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, PC gamers are buying it. You look at Witchers are like 33 million on PC. But how many of these people bought these games for like $9.99 for the full package? When normally the game for the full package would have been $100.
I got it for $5.
Well, The Witcher
Well, I'm
3,
talking
I
about
think, is a bad example, but generally you're correct. But I think The Witcher is a bad example because I'm pretty sure that did very well early on PC. But overall, your point is still 100% salient. Like
it's
majority.
got long-term
Right.
sales.
Right.
Like even with like Cyberpunk. Now Cyberpunk was at 20 fast, but
Right.
Witcher wasn't. Witcher is
Witcher
steadily
was
selling
not.
because they keep putting same thing with like Skyrim. Every time they put it on sale, they sell them, but they're selling them for $5.
Right.
Like Outer Worlds is $2.99. And what really brought it to my attention even more than it already was I saw Outer Worlds for sale for $2.99, and then the following week, Private Division and Obsidian said 5 million players. Thank you, everybody. Like, dude.
But here's the thing about that. I don't disagree with you at all, right? But of the concept of, like the majority of these sales are when the game is dirt cheap, right? Absolutely. However, I remember working at a game shop in the PS2 era, right? And I remember, I don't know if I've told the story here, but I remember one day there's a kid walked in with his father, had his arm around the kid's shoulder, and he was finishing up a thing. He was saying to him something along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm proud of you. You did good. This is why you're getting this video game." Type conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been his grades or whatever he did, right? He did right, and now he's about to get a new full price game, right? So when you first walk into the shop, at first you see all the full price games, all the new releases, right? That's what you see. And back then, games were $50, right?
You're not getting that one, kid.
And that's what he was looking at first.
Yeah.
He wants the new game. He did whatever I could see in the kid's face, right? He did whatever he was supposed to have done, right? To earn it, right? His father said, "You can get a new game." And then, so he's seeing, and he's looking at that. And the father's standing behind him. He's looking at the thing. And then he notices, no, the wall is way longer than just the section the son is looking, right? So I'm standing towards the middle,
What's
right?
wrong with this
Where
game?
No. This is the No. This is the $20 section, right? The $20 section back then was the biggest section. The greatest hits games, stuff like that, right? But not just greatest hits.
What's wrong with
But a lot of games, even before they would change the packaging to greatest hits, like word would come down that the MSRP is $20 now, right? So eventually, the father's eyes, he's looking around the whole wall and he sees the $20, but it's not like marked like this is the section of of games for $20
for this price of
it's just no. The rabbit hole gets worse than that, right? But like you see, all the games have a label on them, so you see the prices, right? So he starts to realize, his son is at the $50 game section. There's a whole section that's 3 times as large of the $20 game section. So the father's like, "Oh no, you get a game from over here." And the son is like, "What?
I get you $50 worth of games, not a $50 game."
And he no. He got him one $20 game.
Oh, wow.
Not even 2. You see what I'm saying? So like, I knew, and the kid's eyes met my eyes, and my eyes were telling him like, "I'm sorry, kid. Your father I can't help you, but your father just burnt. He just burnt you, bro. I can tell. I understand, bro. Your father burnt you, but I can't do nothing about it." And it's not even, and like I said, it's not even, he gave him 2 of the $20 games for $40, right? And still less than the 50. And he's saving a little bit, but and he did right by his son. No, he got him the one $20 game. And then it got worse than that. In the end, he picked the game so he could play it. he could play it.
It's some like
right,
some kind of
right,
kitty
and
game,
then
like
and so like
Ryan
we could,
toy review or something.
no, some more like of a sports game that the kid didn't really want, but it was not like a old copy of 2K or whatever. It was more like a sports-esque game. So like
it's lacrosse
NBA
Pro
Street or whatever, NBA Street or whatever that had already been old, and now it's $20 now, right? And the kid didn't want that because that's not the new hotness, right? He did whatever he had to do to earn. So like 2 weeks later, the kid shows up to trade in the game, right? Because we did trade-ins back then, but like for $20 game, you're getting like $3,
$3, yeah,
if that. He's like, yeah, how much will I get for this?
Sorry, kid.
No, I gave him $10. I took $7 in my own pocket to give this kid, right? Because he was only gonna get 3, right? Because that's how bad.
I was about to say $2.
Right? No, because that would be fucked up. That's like that. That's worse than just doing nothing. I feel, right? Because it's like me,
But that's what they give you though.
Right? No, I understand, but I'm saying if the store gave him 3 and I give him 2, right? So he gets 5. That's in a way worse than if I gave him nothing. You follow what I'm saying? Right? So anyway, like the reason I bring all this up is it was true back then. A lot of games sold their most copies when they were cheaper, but the systems over time got cheaper. This is the first generation where no platform has dropped in price at all. Right? Like you'll see some sales, Black Friday hit this and that, but the MSRP ain't changed all this time. Nintendo didn't do it. Microsoft and Sony didn't do it. Right? Now, at first, I would give Nintendo the same crap I do for everything else. And even though they were the first generation to do this, they're not the only. So I let them slide with this one. This is the one thing I let them slide on. And it's not that I'd let them slide to gain the equal amounts that the other two deserve too. Right? Because they haven't dropped prices. And even then, I would give Nintendo worse because they've been around longer and their hardware is even cheaper. But still, nah, it's equal amounts of smoke for all three. And the reason I bring all of this up is it's nothing new for games to sell the most amount of copies when they're at a cheaper price. Like $20 was, back then, $20 was the magic number, right? We had a whole section at the store I worked at, so there you have it, right?
Still
but like
$20 games,
right? So like, I agree with you, realist overall, but I think about these things. I think about how the PC does it. Even when the industry was big time, right? In the PS2 era, and then later on in the 360 era, right? And even you would say in the PS4 era, last generation. Let's be honest, that was the PS4's era. Last generation, they ran that generation, right? And the same thing happened though. Games would sell, right? I'm talking about third-party games and stuff, not just Sony games, right? In general, right? Would sell, and eventually they would drop the price, and then they would sell more. That's nothing new. Ain't shit changed since we were children. However, I can't really knock the point you're making now about it, even though it ain't no different. But how different is it, and how much does it really matter, and how much is really a perception thing? That's the thing I think that's most important when we look at all this. It's like with these companies, what I was saying earlier with the example of Fortnite, right? All the other guys are trying to make Fortnite money, but that doesn't mean that the things they have going on isn't profitable. But to them, it's not a fact thing; it's a perception thing because they're not making Fortnite money. They think they're making no money, and they act like they're making no money, and then they'll want to, fire people and shut studios down. Basically, cutting off their nose to spite their face. But it's all in their own mind. It's all a perception thing. I think that's more of what the issue is with the industry than a lot of other factors. It's not the biggest factor. There's other factors that we alluded to earlier on, right? But I think that's a major, major, major factor. And so I don't know how to call that one, bro. Long story short. I don't know how to call it.
He's kind of late on that one. Long story.
It just is what it is, right? Like, this is nothing new, though. Like, games would drop to $20, and all of a sudden, a lot of people who didn't get the game would pick it up. I did that. You did that. You still do that. I don't
I do
even.
that
Well,
today.
I do that now on PC.
I do that
side.
now. Hell,
Yeah.
I got
So it
Fort
is what it
Solis for $14. I got Lost Ground for under $20. I got Final Fantasy 16 with trade in under $20. I bought tons of games under $20, and I bright. Oh, Mirage was under
Oh, I'll
20.
give you a perfect example. Because you mentioned the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prince of Persia. We talked about it earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a game around the same time that came out was Tales of Kenzera. That was $20, if not less, slightly, right? But they were the same type of game. And a lot of people were like, they looked at Prince of Persia and they were like, we're not getting that for that price. And they looked at Tales of Kenzera and were like, I'll probably mess with that. Now there's more details in that about EI stuff and blah, blah, blah. And then we saw what happened to the developer all after the fact. But that's more the industry than anything else, right? Prince of Persia would have done a lot better had they charged appropriately for it. If it was $40 or even $50, that would have been better. They need to know the lane they're in. And once again, like we were saying from the beginning, I just don't think they understand what they're doing in this industry anymore. They don't get it. Like where all this money is being spent on these games. Because I don't see it. I don't see where the money is going. Not at all.
Oh, I got breaking news. Kieran's my friend on Twitter now. Woo!
Well, that's the homie.
All right, man. Last subject of the night. We all like this because finally somebody stood the ground. They said, nope, we didn't want any of this. Pearl Abyss rejects Sony's exclusivity deal for Crimson Desert. This would have been kept off of Xbox for a time period. It doesn't say how long it would have been, but just like Stellar Blade is for, it's off of Xbox right now. Yay! Somebody stepped up and said nope. I wonder how that makes Sony execs feel. Like, they don't want to work with us. Maybe
No, they know.
Maybe they seen something like, I ain't dealing with you guys like that.
Well, they gotta see. They gotta see first. They gotta see PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation is paying studios because they don't have any publishers that need to take deals like this. So PlayStation is taking these studios. Now I can understand Xbox, but if you look at Stellar Blade, they are even keeping it off of PC. And what people are realizing is what I've been saying this whole time. Square is the last domino to fall. I said that at the beginning of the generation. Square will be the last domino to fall. But now they're starting to see that I've been saying this, man. The IP suffers from exclusivity. The only team winning is Sony. They might sell a few consoles. But when they do drop Stellar Blade on PC, who's going to care?
Yeah.
If they do bring it on Xbox, who's going to care? Look at Square. Look at Sega. Sega said, we saw the mistake that we made once we brought Persona to PC, and we're not going to do exclusivity anymore. So far, so good.
Yep.
Square. Not meeting our expectations. Didn't meet our expectations. Didn't meet our expectations. Sony's on the internet talking about, oh, it's in the top 15. They don't understand what it takes to even hit the top 15. They don't understand what it takes to chart an NPD. Most new releases are going to chart. When you see games like Mario Kart charting for years, it's like 15, 20,000 units every week. It doesn't mean that they just sold a hell of a lot of units. Now, maybe they did sell a few 100,000, but it's not a lot for the game. Now, we don't know how much Astro costed. Yeah. So, but when you look at these third-party deals, the only ones who are going to do these deals are studios, and this goes for Microsoft too. There are no more third-party deals no more. Square was the last one. The only ones you're gonna see are studios like GSC Game World, whoever's making Phantom Blade, uh, studios like that. Your Kinas, your Gunks, Thunderful. Then you're gonna see games like that doing time exclusivity, and that's because they need help getting the game to market. But publishers stand to lose too much through exclusivity. It's like PC is the only one that can be exclusive, but that's because it's the easiest to put your game, and you can have your own launcher. You know what I mean? In the case of some of these games, like a Valorant, you know what I mean? They're gonna bring it to PC, then bring it to console later.
Yeah.
Because those games, they expect them to do well overseas, where the population is mostly PC anyway. But there's no point in exclusivity for third party publishers. If you're third party, be third party. If you're a small indie studio, then yeah, because you need funding. But that's it. And Pearl Abyss, they already have Black Desert. They're already making money. They didn't need Sony. But Sony at least shot their shot and they tried. But I'm so happy that they put them on blast, though. I'm so happy that they said it the way they said it. That way everybody knows. And it just pisses Xbox fans off even more with Microsoft for putting games over there. Because you see PlayStation still trying to play dirty. But there are no more deals. After Sony, that was it. And Sony knows this. Especially, and on top of that, Sony is paying to keep these people's games off PC while putting games on PC. Now, this one was only to take it away from Xbox. But after looking at how your own first-party IP service games perform, but this one is supposed to be single player. Crimson Desert is a MMO. But after seeing how games perform on your platform,
Oh, so Black Desert is the MMO and Crimson Desert
Right.
is single player. Okay,
right?
and it's the same universe basically.
I'm
It's
gonna
like a sequel
I'm gonna
or
assume.
whatever, or the same franchise basically.
So here's
I'm
something
gonna assume.
on the
I presume.
on the article. Pearl Abyss's decision reflects a growing trend in the gaming industry where developers seek more control over their game and distribution methods, as evidenced by companies like Square Enix.
Yeah, being
Right.
multi-platform. Yep.
By choosing to self-publish, Pearl Abyss can release Crimson Desert across multiple platforms, including Xbox, PC, PlayStation, enabling them to reach a larger audience and boost
So-
revenue.
You know what? This addresses the other thing that we were talking about, right? With these publishers. Like EA is known. There's a graveyard in EA's name of countless developers that they bought that eventually they forced them into a certain direction to do certain things that they weren't able to do. And then when they didn't meet the, on that criteria, right? And they flop at whatever they forced them to do,
Mhm.
They kill the developer, right? It's all throughout their history, right? These publishers were long since recognized as a problem. I forgot when or how, like the gaming community had gotten off of this realization, because this was known ages ago. I don't know why they stopped focusing on that, right? So now, like, they want to self-publish. So this is two things. Now, the thing you were talking about with Sony, right, and they're paying for exclusivity, like we know about all that, and that's all true, right? And that's the headline, right? That's the main headline. That's the main angle everybody's talking about, because we've been talking about this for a while. But these publishers are the problem. They always were. This is why, all the things we were talking about all episode, right? We're talking about how we don't understand why they don't seem to understand the industry they're in. They seem never to make the right decisions in terms of like market research or pricing or anything with these games. Like, they don't seem to know what they're in. They just seem to see what other people are doing, and they just want this money the same way the other guys had gotten the money, but know nothing about the work they put in to get the money. Or more times than not, it's just luck, right? Fortnite was luck in many ways, right? It's also a bit of theft, right?
No,
You know
but I
what I'm
said they
saying?
stole.
It was a bit of theft, right? But even that theft thing still had to. There was still a level of luck with that, right? That it became a popular thing and people started messing with it more than. And it was also lucky that PUBG was, it was buggy at the time, right? There was a lot of things that worked out for them. That was just convenience. It just happened to be. They could never replicate that again. That's why all these other guys are trying to replicate it. They can't because that was luck in the first place. There were a lot of the biggest successes in this industry are luck, right? The people who benefited from it, who did it, don't even know how they did it, right? Honestly, right? When Shuhei Yoshida, the beginning of last generation, said he doesn't know why the PlayStation 4 is selling so well, I said, yo, that's bad for PlayStation. Eventually, all these great times they were experiencing would slow down for them, and they wouldn't know what to do because they didn't know what they were doing when they were being successful. Then
man,
EA
said the same thing about their Battlefield games.
Right.
They came out
about
and said, we don't understand why everybody loves Bad Company 2. And it's like, are you serious?
Yes. Yep, I remember that. Yes. Right. And there you go. So for Pearl Abyss to want to self-publish, it's more than just the platforms, it's control of their own destiny.
Yeah.
And Steam and other platforms on PC, right? Here's another platform that people don't know about, itch.io. You want to talk about some indie stuff? Like, remember I was talking about Pico 8 games with that Pow Kitty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little indie games, right? That eventually, a lot of them are successful. They bring them to Steam, they bring them to early access. They expand upon the idea and make it into a bigger deal, right? Itch.io, right? It's a great platform for that. You could put out games for free, low cost. Situations like Kickstarter, stuff like that. Remember Kickstarter with that one game from the guy who did Mega Man, Mighty Number 9, right?
Mighty Number 9.
Right,
I thought you were talking about 20XX.
And then there was a 20XX, and then there was that other game that was like like Castlevania, right? When Kickstarter was a new thing, right? That was seen by everybody, the gamers, the press, the publishers alike, as a different avenue to go down. You remember with Mighty Number 9, that was Kenji Inafune, right? Who's known for like the Mega Man game. Right? He was the guy in charge of the Mega Man games at Capcom, right? He wanted to do more and they didn't want to do anymore. So he said, F it, I'm going to make my own, right? And then Kickstarter and all of that. And it kind of worked, it kind of didn't, right? There was that other Castlevania-like game, right? Similar type of situation, right? And it seemed to be the best way to go forward, right? Because you take a person like Kenji Inafune, you could trust that he's not trying to rob you of your money. He has a plan to make a game, and this is what he plans to do. He gives you the presentation, right? And then you give the money up front. Now, in return, you're supposed to at least get a copy of the game. Depending on the tier, you might get, extras. Like I did the same thing with Project Wingman, right? I believed in that. I put my money towards it, and I'm in the credits. I'm proud to say that my name is in the, my little handle there is in the credits, right? That I contributed to one of my favorite games this past generation. Boom, it's there, right? But that was the thing where I knew it could be something. The fan base who also contributed knew it could be something, and indeed it was, right? Well, for that little niche that it is, right? Mighty Number 9, not as much. That other Castlevania game that I still can't remember the name of, not as much. But at least they, in the end, they made a profit, right? Mm-hmm. But these producers were in charge of they didn't have to answer to nobody. Not no Capcom, EA, Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, nobody.
You're not the boss of me.
Exactly. They're not the boss of them. They're their own boss. And the only people they answer to are the gamers, the consumers, the people who's giving them the money in the first place. That's the best relationship, right? We give you money and you give us a game. The more you do with the game, the better the game is, the more money you get. And we're willing to give it to you because there's that trust now. There's that relationship, right? You do for us, we pay you. The more you do for us, the more we'll pay you, right? And then you have a system where it's a bunch of true believers who believe in your craft, like you believe in your craft, and there's that relationship there, right? And it's a positive thing. But the way the industry is now, they show you something. We as a fan base, we have some criticisms, and they talk down to us like we're wrong, but we're the ones who pay for your shit. If you don't appease us, you're fucked, because you're gonna owe money. Because it's not a Kickstarter situation where you get the money up front, right? And those pre-orders, even though there's a lot of people who still pre-order, we even know, even with pre-orders, that's not saving your ass anyway. So a bunch of us are crash outs and they pay pre-orders. It don't matter. Your ass is still grass if you don't do right by us. That black and white. But now, the way it is with these publishers and stuff, they seem to be so useless. All they have is money, and they seem to not even have that nowadays. That's why they're shutting down all these studios. Can't make a game to save their lives. They don't know what to make. They try to dictate to us what we want. It's a continuing cycle. And of all things, and I don't want to have to defend Nintendo either, but they don't do that. But like, it's crazy how the publishers and now the press is involved in it. And then if you speak out against them, they have a bunch of crash outs who will come and jump you. Mm-hmm. It's not even the dude you talking at IGN or, you know, or Windows Central. No, it's some other crash out who follows this dude, or like with the PlayStation fanboys, will sit there and jump you in Twitter comments until you block them, and all of a sudden they take that as a victory. But you were right and they were wrong. They're just the crash out sitting there defending a company like fucking morons. And then the worst thing about it is these fake neutrals who sit there and talk like, oh, Xbox and PlayStation and PC fanboys. But if you know all the details of the equation to that extent to make a statement like that, that means you pay attention like the rest of us. You're a hypocrite by default. But that's the way the game industry is nowadays. Like, the gamers need to wake up and realize what the fuck it is. Because it didn't used to be like this. But the $20 game thing, like I said earlier, was always the situation. So why is it a negative now? Because of these publishers and stuff. That's what the problem is. I understand the business aspect on that you talk about there, Realist, but I don't care. That's their problem. I spend my money, you give me a game. I understand why you care about it, and it's not like I have no interest. I get it too, right? But like, that's not supposed to be my concern. It's only my concern because I'm an enthusiast, but it shouldn't be at all. I shouldn't have to worry about that at all. A fair price for a fair product. That's all.
It's like, I don't care. The thing is, it's like,
oh, no, I don't.
I'm gonna assume that publishing costs a lot of money,
right?
Especially to a smaller dev, because that's always how Sony is getting them, right? Mm-hmm. And I know some of these foreign companies would rather deal with a publishing partner. And I also know that in the East, you need a venture partner. You can't publish over there. That's why some games are published by some other publishing company over there, and then a publishing company over here. You look at Stellar Blade. Why is Stellar Blade exclusive to PlayStation? Because they needed a publishing partner. That's their words exactly. Same thing with Phantom Blade Zero. They need a publishing partner. So when the company comes,
Bayonetta, same situation.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but I know they'll
for Nintendo, because they didn't have the money to make the game themselves either, so they went to Nintendo and Xbox and Sony, and only Nintendo said yeah, so that's why it's exclusive over there.
And then finally, Bayonetta 3, Nintendo paid for all the production, so that's why I have to do it. So like, a lot of these smaller companies need publishing, and it's obviously not in the budget, so they deal with PlayStation. So there's no excuse for a company like Square or any other major third-party publisher to do a deal like that with a Sony or even a Microsoft. It's not a Sony v. Microsoft thing. So when they come out and they say that we chose to self-publish, that lets you know that Sony offered them publishing for exclusivity. So instead they said, nah, we'll publish it ourselves because we don't want to hamstring our IP like that. They're on to something. You had Black Desert, so now Crimson Desert. Why would we want to do exclusivity at this point when our first game is everywhere? It just makes no sense. They should have
Right.
like Square, but see, Square was different because Square was in trouble. Square couldn't afford Enix, Crystal Dynamics, so they had to get rid of them because of the mouse. So then they remember everybody was thinking that Microsoft was going to buy Square Enix because they were in so much trouble. Or
But
Sony.
also, let's not forget that also they made a couple of errors when they had, developers and IPs that people wanted, right? And they made mistakes and expected, like with Tomb Raider and stuff, right? And what's that other game that Marvel game?
You mean Microsoft's exclusivity?
Avengers?
You mean Microsoft's exclusivity?
Avengers? No, not that one. The third one.
You said they made mistakes. I'm trying to figure out what the mistakes.
But not that one because that was the second one, right? With Microsoft. But I think it's before Square had them because I think they had them for the third one. I don't know if they had them for the second one. Okay. Tomb Raider. But for like Avengers, for example, right? And a bunch of other games that they had that didn't do well when they had the money and situation, right, available to them that they don't now, right? They made bad decisions then that led to them have to finally have that wake up moment, right? And now they realize, oh, we were messing up all along. But the writing was on the wall the beginning of this decade, right? And Square just kept putting in on their chips with Sony with this exclusivity thing. Just kept doing
Square's been in trouble for a long time.
That's my point.
It wasn't until Final Fantasy came out and it became a surprise hit that they had a little breathing room.
Right, but that's the origins of Square. That was back in '87. I'm talking about in 2019, 2020.
But they never just been a company that's just been flourishing until 7.
No,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And then they've been on a gradual fall ever since. But I can tell that they were souring with PlayStation because of Spider-Man. When they made it public that Spider-Man was only going to be on PlayStation, and they said we're going to complete this, something along the lines of we don't want to be making content for just one fan base.
I agree,
and I
but the problem
I could tell that they were kind of souring at that point.
Right. I agree. I believe I noticed that too around that time too. But what I'm saying is, see, these, particularly Square, right? They were not self-aware enough to realize, hey, we're fucking up. We need to change up. And it seemed to be
they couldn't change up though.
Well, I don't know about all of that.
Or they didn't have the nuts to change up because really nothing's changed. They're really living off of 14 right now. Like everything else that they dropped is not meeting expectations.
Well, yeah, but also last year they replaced the CEO, and I made no news at all. Nobody knew. I didn't know. You didn't know, and we're the type who would know stuff like that. I didn't know. You didn't know.
Yeah, I knew. We just didn't. We just don't talk about. Like now, we're talking about it. But
no, but when it was,
do you know that dude PK or something like that?
Yeah, PK. Yeah, PK Live. Yeah, I know him, PK.
Yeah, that's his name, PK Live. So I was on Hunter's show like last year, and he crashed the show one day, and he came in there talking about Square Enix.
Yeah,
and Hunter and them were like, "Nobody give up on no Square." Yeah. But at that time I didn't care. At that time I didn't care either. But it was. I don't like not knowing stuff.
Right.
So I just shut up. But from that point on, I started paying attention more to them outside of what I already knew, which was they were basically Sony's bitch. But I knew Hiroki, whatever his name. He got kind of the same name as Sony's CEO.
Hiroki Totoki, right? Like a similar name to him. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I knew that he was, but nobody talked to. You don't remember, bro? Because when people brought it up, they said Square CEO left. But if this was Microsoft, everybody would be talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Right. No, but no, I said that. But when
No.
found
When
out,
it happened on Twitter, they were doing that.
oh, okay, because the thing was last year, right? Last year, mid last year, when I found out is because they started announcing certain things, or maybe it was early this year. They started announcing certain moves that I would have never thought to see from Square, like Final Fantasy 14 finally coming to Xbox, right? But even before then, they had said like in 2020 or 2021 that once the PlayStation 5 version of the latest expansion pack for 14 was done, then they could consider to decide to work on an Xbox version of Final Fantasy 14 and other Xbox things. Which around that time, there was another Final Fantasy game that came to Xbox, and 100 beat that thing in like 3 to 4 games. Stranger in Paradise. So listen, man. Don't believe him when
Tech
he
did
said
too.
right. So don't believe 100 when he's saying all this Square Enix thing. Okay, but really believe him when he
Technically,
says,
that's Tecmo though.
that was a Tecmo game. Well, my point is, but also believe him when he says he be playing his game, which we know for a fact, right?
Oh, yeah,
He said all that stuff, but he beat that game within a couple days. Stranger of Paradise, right?
Yeah, the whole time he was defending it when he was putting his clips up. It ain't
Right.
bad.
He was defending it back then, right? But see, but that was the thing. So there was some talk internally at Square, right? It seems like, looking from the outside in, that they wanted to change, but there were things holding them back. And it seemed to me, because after I found out that they had a new CEO, well, I'm sure too. But my point is that when I found out that they had replaced the CEO the year before, even, I'm like, which was a shock to me. Like, how the hell did I miss out on that, right? But also, I'm like, I started doing the research as to what Square had been saying in recent time because I realized, hey, if I missed out on that, what else did I miss out on, right? So I started doing my homework. Come to realize, hey, they started making a lot of changes around the time when they changed the CEO. I'm not saying that that contract didn't play a part. Of course they did. But I think also the CEO was a part of the change that the rest of Square wanted to do, and they weren't able to because of certain powers that be that had to be overthrown or whatever. Because who knows what the politics were over there at Square, right? We don't know. And it's a Japanese company, and it's going to be even harder to find out, right? But there you go, right? Like, a change is finally happening at Square, but even though it's not too successful now, I think a lot of that stuff that's not too successful now is still from contracts that they already had in play that are still in play. So the real independent moves that they've made are very recent, like the Pixel remasters, right? All that other stuff that they just announced, that just released, Trials of Mana and Legends of Mana coming to Game Pass, right? Or recent moves that were probably recently decided on, right? And so I'm going to give them like 6 to 8 months and then re-examine their situation. But for now, they're not doing well. But I think they still have a lot of old trash to take out, and then we could see if they're really on a path, of redemption. Because similar shit happened at Capcom. Remember Street Fighter X Tekken? Around that time, people began to call them Crapcom because the entire game and all the DLC was on the disc, but you had to pay for the DLC to unlock it. But all the stuff was on the disc from day one, and hackers had found out ways to unlock, certain characters and stuff that were on the disc. Levels, stages, stuff like that. And Capcom around that time was fucking up royally, and the gamers started to call them Crapcom, right? It was a hashtag and everything. I remember that because I started using it too. And eventually they opened their eyes and realized, hey,
oops.
Because look at this. it was so bad. Look at the situation they were forced into with Street Fighter V. They could not afford to develop and publish it on their own, even though they came off the success of Street Fighter 4 and multiple iterations of Street Fighter 4, because they had burnt all that money up in bad moves, right? And so they had to go to Sony and Microsoft, and only Sony accepted, on the deal, right, for Street Fighter 5. And we saw how that didn't work out for them. But at that point, they had no other choice. But they had other things on the pot, and it worked out for them with Capcom. They're okay for now, right? Because they used to be in a lot of debt, and BK taught me that too. That they were in a lot of debt. I think they paid it all back now, or they're at least close to it. So in a good way now, right? But Capcom was in a bad place, but they opened their eyes and they realized what it was, and they fixed their situation. With Square, it seems like maybe only recently they've done that with the new leadership, but I'm gonna give that 6 to 8 months. But anyway, that's what I want to say.
That's what I said. They're letting their nuts hang, man. Which is what they should have done a long time ago. Basically,
a long time ago.
Stand on your own 10. Because they've been taking this free money from Sony. You said you don't know what the mindset of the leadership was. The mindset was to survive. The mindset was, as long as Sony wants to give us free money, we'll take it. But now you look at what's going on around you. Look at fellow, I guess, countrymen at Capcom dig themselves out of a hole. Sega dig themselves out of a hole.
Indeed.
Sega has overtaken, I don't care what anybody says, Square as the RP. They've never been in that kind of trouble. Bandai Namco.
Yeah, not as bad. Not as bad, but
what I'm saying is Sega has now overtaken Square as the RPG king.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else has to say.
You're right.
Square may have more, or they may have more volume, but when Sega Atlas, Ryoku, whatever the name is, I don't know it, but I'll know it next time. The makers of Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's like Ryu Gyoku, something like that. But
yeah, I can't pronounce it either. I'm not gonna try.
When they bring those games out, it's an event.
Yes.
Right? And it's an event for everybody. And this is why exclusivity is bad for business.
Yep.
The zeitgeist, the moment where everybody's excited, the moment where everybody's talking, and not just a segment of the gaming population. So
like Street Fighter 4, and unlike Street Fighter 5.
But see, Street Fighter 5 was a necessity. I'm not mad at Capcom for that.
Right, I'm not mad at them, but
I'm more mad at Microsoft for not joining in to help a company with that type of lineage to bring the game to market instead of just leaving it to Sony.
It's a comparison of success and not success, right? One was on both consoles and PC, and the other one was on PC and one console.
What are you talking about right now?
Street Fighter 4 was on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
I'm talking about Street Fighter 5.
Right. No. I'm just saying the reason I brought it up is the comparison, right? From the same developer and everything, right? One game was on everything. The other one was not. Okay, the first one was successful. The other one was not. That's all. And not as more details than that, but that's not the point.
The time for Square to dump PlayStation was back when 14 started to catch steam. They should have stopped with the exclusivity back then.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the new guy come. There must have been some type of loyalty that Sony bought from the old regime. Because other than that, I don't understand how it makes sense to do exclusivity, especially now. Xbox fans don't like it, but the Xbox account says the biggest games will be played everywhere. Is that not a fact?
Yep.
It's a fact, man. Now, I think Square's gonna be all right. It's gonna be tough to overtake Sega because they've done what I've been saying these Japanese companies need to do with Xbox. I've been saying this. People have been playing JRPGs on Nintendo for 40 years. People have been playing JRPGs on PlayStation for 25. People played JRPGs on Xbox during the Xbox 360 era.
Yep.
But you have to nurture a fan base the same way. Square drops these random games. They got to get out of that. Every game needs to be everywhere. Yeah. They should get a port team for all the old games on Xbox and just let them sit there. Whoever buys them buys them.
Yeah. This is what I've been
Because
saying. Same with Sega with their old classics too. I've been saying this for 30
well,
years now.
but Sega's cooking though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that's all you have is now. They made their mistakes, and they were in a tough spot, just like Square.
Yes.
They had
even
to take that
worse
exclusive. They had to take that exclusivity money the same way. Think about it. They cut out PC and Xbox.
Yep.
And Nintendo.
Yep.
So you have to be in a tough spot to do that. See, when PlayStation approached Crimson Desert, they said we just want to cut Xbox out. Because see, the walls are closing in on Sony. A lot of our fans, Xbox fans, don't understand what's really going on. How Xbox is killing them softly, while they look like the good guy.
Yep.
See, Phil said that exclusivity is going to mean less and less going forward. I didn't know it was going to happen this fast. They called him a liar. They said, "Oh, well, the loser doesn't get to make the rules. Well, only for Xbox it's going to mean less and less." No, for everybody. Yep. Because they weren't paying attention. They didn't pay attention until Square stood up and said something, but they didn't pay attention.
And they're still trying to make exclusivity about it now.
There's no Rockstar exclusivity. There's no EA exclusivity. There's no Sega exclusivity. The only teams that are doing exclusivity are smaller teams. No AAA third-party publisher was doing it. Square was the last one.
Yep.
And so now Sony's going to have to parade AA games like what's the name of that game? Stellar Blade out there, and try to act like the AAA games. That's why it only pushed a million units. That game should have been everywhere.
Yeah.
And I bet your monkeys on whatever that studio comes out with next is going to be everywhere. They've gone public now. Like, it's bad for you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, and if you're going to do exclusivity deals, Sony's going to have to make it work everybody's while. And I don't think Sony's in a position to do that.
Not anymore.
They need to start doing. This is why I give Sony props for pushing Horizon out there. No, when people are saying we don't want it anymore, because they need people to buy their games. I'm not mad at them for treating Last of Us the way they are, because they need people to care. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Sony's games. It is their fault. And Microsoft has the same issue, right? But Microsoft remedied it through Game Pass. Microsoft didn't have any studios. PlayStation didn't have any studios. So they had to do what they did. If they wanted, they had to have games. So Ubisoft and Splinter Cell and Microsoft and all those games come to Xbox in the beginning. Square Enix gets pulled away from Nintendo while they're making Final Fantasy VII. These are the moves that had to be made back then. But now you need people to care about what you have. Game Pass. You don't even have to pay for the games. Just come subscribe. Fall in love in Game Pass. Mm-hmm. That's Microsoft's remedy. PlayStation doesn't have a remedy. PlayStation's only remedy is to try to keep the game prices high by remastering. Delisting old ones and remastering. That's their only remedy to being able to sell their games for a higher price than what they should be. But they should have done this a long time ago. Just like Square should have pulled away from Sony a long time ago, Sony should have been trying to build their IP a long time ago. Killzone should have been in development. All these games that these PlayStation fans are asking for should never have been stopped being made. Because just like I said about Xbox, Call of Duty comes out every year. Never stopped Halo from coming out. Halo's getting his ass kicked. Halo gets his ass kicked every year except for with Infinite. That was the first time where they went toe to toe with Call of Duty. Not all over all the platforms, but on Xbox. Battlefield had to bow down. This is why I don't take Infinite slander. EA had to come out and say the quality of Halo was just, we have to do better. That's why people aren't playing Battlefield. Dropped it right next to Call of Duty, went toe to toe with Call of Duty on Xbox. This is why I won't take Infinite slander. But it's going to be a different landscape in gaming. Props to Pearl Abyss, props to Square. But we will see time deals, but it will be from smaller studios who can't afford to be published. And if they can't, how often are those games going to be major hits? So far this generation, PlayStation has had Kenna, Stray, and Annapurna could afford to do it. I don't know why they did it that way. But, they're a smaller publisher. You know, they second party is through the Ninja game, Rise of the Ronin. Xbox has had the Gunk, some other small games.
Gunk.
Some games through default, like Early Access and Pal World.
Yeah.
We got Stalker coming.
Yep.
But those are the types of games that are gonna be there. You know, it's not gonna be from the major publishers anymore. And if these Japanese companies are wise, they'll start putting their games on Xbox. Because the console, people always say, well, PlayStation fans always say, well, nobody's buying it. The Xbox is about to be on everything. And if they make a PC like people are talking about next year, I mean, why not?
I was just about to say that. Yeah, if that handheld, bro, oh my God, that's going to be the nuke right there, the tactical nuke. That's just like, yo, because at that point, it doesn't matter what anybody says, they're still making money off of you. Just like with this Call of Duty situation, right? These PlayStation fanboys love to talk and blah, 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 Game Pass numbers, this and that. And they try to make all this fake math to say that Microsoft is going to be losing up behind this.
Gamer math.
But, right? All types of bad gamer math, right? But the simple fact is, right? 70% or 80% or whatever the number is of every copy of Call of Duty sold on PlayStation goes to Microsoft's coffers. And it's Call of Duty, a Black Ops game, one of the better ones they've done in recent, right? And the Black Ops games sell, right? And this is a really good one, a good looking one. And anybody who says that honestly on Twitter is getting jumped by a bunch of PlayStation dudes. Like I said earlier with Ono was Alex, even he said so, right? Even he said so. And if you look in the comments, there's a bunch of PlayStation fanboys. You'll know when you start looking at what they post. They're full of crap. But they also, a lot of them, like I said earlier, preloaded the game. They already paid for it. Microsoft already got their money. Mm-hmm. But they're talking all this shit. They know the writing is on the wall. This is why they act the way they act, right? So, and that's just Call of Duty. Wait till most everything is on their platform. And it's the platform of choice. And I don't just mean a console platform. If it's the PC platform, or if it's the mobile platform, or even if it's not their platform, but it's their game, right? And it's on a different platform like Google Play, iOS, whatever, right? Steam, Epic, don't matter. And they have a bunch of they have all these studios. Too many games to put out for each one to get their own shine. Before the next one is out. We know them for a fact. We know the names of them and when generally they're supposed to be released. We already know. It's a foregone conclusion. And that handheld situation, bro, that's gonna be the tactical nuke that will bring everything together, just blow up in their faces. This is crazy how it is. To pretend like that's not highly likely to happen is folly. But man, it's close to 10:30. We've been on here for a minute.
I know.
More than a minute.
All right, guys. Good talk. Good subjects. And, man, the holidays are coming up, so we'll see what sales there are. Under $20 games. Woohoo! I'm here for that.
Oh, yeah, man. Steve's going to have that crackhead sale for the fall pretty soon, I'm sure.
I got a list of games I want, so I got to go find these $20 games I can purchase so I can help out with the sale numbers because they went $20 and under. All right. All right, guys, we're out of here, and good night. Peace.
Peace.
Holla.